Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to do a video on my experience with moving out. I have only moved out one time, and that was when I was 18 years old. And I was, at the time, a current bio major, and school was taking up a lot of my time, but I really needed to move. I didn't want to be at home just because I just didn't want to be at home. I wanted to finally get out of living with my parents and actually finally be on my own, and that's what I was looking forward to. So I didn't care about how much time school was taking up of my time. I was just like, you know what, I need to work and I need to get out of this house because I just want to finally be on my own. And I'm 18. I felt like 18 was the right time to do so, but I really, I did have a lot going on, but I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'm doing it. Like, I'm fucking moving out. So at the time I was working at Aldo. It's a shoe store. It's a really nice shoe store actually, and I was there probably 5-6 days a week and not worrying about school much really at all. Most of my classes were going well, but my majors class was not going well. But to me, I was really trying my best to get everything done. I was trying my hardest to save money to move out and to be on my own, and then also do well in school, but also like, shit, I need money for myself too. So really I was just like pushing myself to get out, and it was not a good time, but for me it felt like the right time. And so I move out, and not even a week later I found a bed bug. And where I found it was in the living room on a pillow. So of course I start to freak out. I call my mom and I'm like, Mom, I found a fucking bed bug. Like, what do I do? I can't stay here. Like, I gotta get out. And she was like, are you sure? Like, of course everyone's freaking out because this is a big deal. It's really hard to get rid of bed bugs like that. It's like one of the hardest things to get rid of. So I was living in a triplex. I assumed that they had to have come from someone else in the little triplex apartment. It wasn't even really an apartment. It's like a condo for 3 basically. And so I was like, it had to have come from upstairs because that was the person who was directly next to me, and like the vents were over there. So I was like, there's no way like I brought these in because I didn't have them when I moved from my house over here. So there's no way that these came from me. So, my mom and her girlfriend, they got me like a new vacuum cleaner. They bought me traps. They bought me a lot of stuff, like sprays and everything, just so like I could try and get rid of these. And because, I literally was moved out for a week. I didn't want to have to just be like, damn, I found one, like I'm going to give up and I'm going to just move back home. I didn't want to do that. I just moved out. I was really excited. I was on my own, and 18, like, for me, that was the best time. So my mom got all these things for me, and it said, like, she looked up somewhere online, it said if you like vacuum the bed and spray this spray and obviously like all the floors and everything like around for 10 days, then that's supposed to get rid of them. So every single day I would take my sheets off of my bed, and I had like this extra pad on it, but it was sewn in, like it was still on the bed. And so I would like lift it, and I would always like take the vacuum cleaner, the head that you can suction, and I would always go around my bed and clean that, and my pillows, my actual comforter. Like I tell you what, I was doing everything. I was freaking the fuck out. Like, this is disgusting, but I was still like, I just moved out, I'm gonna make this work. So it gets to be, I'm like, I'm doing this for about 4 days now. Maybe, no, I was doing it, I think I did it for 6 days. I was at 6 days doing this, and I found another one. So at this point, I was getting ready for school. I had a 9:30 math class, and I'm in my little walk-in closet, and I'm getting ready, and I see in my mirror, I saw something coming down the wall, and I was like, what is that? Like, what the hell is that? So I look, and of course, it was another one. So I immediately call my mom. I'm freaking out. I'm crying. I'm like, Mom, I found another bed bug. Like, I can't live here. What the fuck do I do? Like, I'm freaking out. And she was like, well, you need to call your landlord and see whatever you can do to get out of that lease. So I call my landlord. I'm like, hey, you know, like, this is the second one I found, and I said, I'm not living here. I'm not going to pay you rent for it either. Like, I'm not paying anything to live here. And at this point, I had already had my deposit down and my first month's rent. So that was already $700 right there. And I just got groceries the day before. That was $100, so that's $800. And then, because I had to throw absolutely everything besides my clothes away, I lost like my bed, I lost my like my bed frame, my comforters, my my actual bed. I lost my wooden like cabinets and things like that, or drawers, you know, my dressers. Like, I pretty much, everything that wasn't clothes or shoes got thrown away, and that was so much money. And for me, I just felt really defeated because it's like, you know, I just moved out, and of course this happened to me. And, you know, I didn't want to have to move back home, but I just lost so much money and stuff. And it's not like I just automatically had the money to be able to pick up where I was and move somewhere else and buy completely new things. Like, I was 18 years old. I wasn't really, you know, I was working 5-6 days a week, but I was working to pay my rent and to pay for utilities and things like this, and like my other bills. And, you know, I wasn't expecting that I was going to have to get rid of absolutely everything I own, basically, because of this situation. So my mom, you know, takes me back in, obviously. She took me back in, and now I'm back home in the side bedroom, which kind of sucks because my bedroom used to be in this room right over here, and it's like a couple of feet bigger than my other room, and my other one's like all through that hallway and at the end of the hallway. But, you know, like, I had a place to stay. There was absolutely no way in hell I was going to complain about that. I was very happy that I was fortunate enough to have family that's going to be like, hey, like, we got you. We got your back. We'll take you back in, like, help you with whatever you need. And I'm very fortunate for my family, you know, being there for me and helping me when times were rough. And especially, I just always think back, and I'm like, I moved out so fast because I just wanted to be out. And a part of me just feels like if I would have waited, this never would have happened. I would have found a different place, and, you know, this could have possibly not happened, but you never know. Moving is very tricky. You don't know what people leave behind or what's still there, things like that. Because, you know, I called pest control, and I was like, you know, I found a bug, and like, what would I have to do to get, like, rid of all this? And she said, you know, that they can still stay in the walls. So even if someone hasn't been there for a month, they can be in the walls, and as soon as, like, heat and people are in that house, then they will migrate through the walls and start coming out, and that's when they go and get into, like, your personal belongings and things like that. So I was like, well, you know, I didn't bring them with me, and I saw one coming down from the vent. And I said, and the first one I saw was in the living room on a pillow, and I said, and there's vents in the living room, obviously. And I said, so, you know, like, what would I have to do in order to take action to be able to try and get rid of any of this? And she was just saying, you know, you'd have to have the entire complex bombed, and like, pretty much like the whole thing has to be cleaned. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to have to let that happen, because I think it takes like 3 tries to do that, and I didn't want to, you know, wait 3 tries just for me to possibly still have them. That's not, I wasn't doing it, you know. And I was like, I'm not going through any risk of bringing any of this shit back with me to my mom's house, you know. So it was just like, what do I do? I felt very stuck, didn't know what to do. And that's obviously when I was just like, I gotta go. Like, I'm not staying somewhere where he says he'll get it bombed and he's not going to. Like, I just wasn't doing it. And the thing that sucked is that this guy was has been the landlord for, like, most of my family. Most of my family has lived in one of the 3 triplexes that he has. So for me, or for him to just completely just be like, oh, well, what he told me was, we've never had an issue like this before, and no one has ever said anything to us. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I was baffled. I couldn't believe it. And I said, well, what do I do? Because I'm not staying here and I'm not paying for it. And he said, well, let me talk to blah, 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 which is his wife. And I was just like, I don't know why you need to talk to her, because I'm not staying here anyway. So he gets back on the phone. He's like, well, she said it's okay. You can move out, and, like, we won't charge you or anything. And I'm like, you weren't going to charge me anyways. Like, I wasn't paying you. And so he's just a complete slumlord, just absolute shit. And I've never had a worse experience in my life, actually. And I'm so fortunate that time of my life is over, because those 2 weeks felt like they dragged on for 2 years. And it was really, really a hard time in my life. But I am glad that, you know, I'm home and I'm looking to move out. I'm not looking to move in an apartment or anything like that. A friend of mine and I are actually looking to rent a house, because we want to be able to make our own noise without people having something to say, or without someone just, you know, constantly on our backs. Like, we wanted to be able to have this for ourselves, and we'll take care of everything. So I'm very glad that her and I are on the same page about moving into a house, because fuck an apartment, I would never do that again. I don't think. It would have to be a very, very nice apartment, because I am just already so scared because of what happened to me the first time that I don't want to move out. I'm like actually scared to move out a second time, because what if it does happen? That is my absolute biggest fear. So yeah, I'm hoping that nothing bad happens, and I hope that the next time I move, it's completely smooth and swift, and, you know, don't have any bug issues, because I will probably cry. I will definitely cry if that ever happens to me again. But yeah, you know, it's just, my first time moving out was not a good one, but I'm gonna hope that the second time I move out is good, because I'm just so ready for it and so excited, and just everything that comes along with it. And I don't want to live at home anymore. You know, I finally want to be on my own. And not finally, I wanted to be on my own 2 years ago, but I'm excited to finally be on my own, hopefully, and not have any of these situations arise again. But back to my landlord at the time. When I was talking to him about this, I was like, you know, am I going to get any of my money back? Like, I paid deposit and rent, and I've only stayed here for 2 weeks. And at the time, I actually already had 2 bills due too. So, like, I was pretty deep into this. And he told me that he wasn't going to give me anything back at first. And then we worked something out where he said as long as I returned the keys, he would give me $150 back. And I wasn't actually going to settle for that. I was going to take it to small claims court, because fuck that. You know, I want my money back. I lost every single thing that I own except for my clothes and shoes, because we put them in trash bags and put them in the dryer, and, you know, because heat is what kills bed bugs. So, like, we literally bagged absolutely everything up and put them, like, double tied them in trash bag, or double trash bagged them and put them in the dryer. Like, this, awful, just awful. I would never wish this upon my worst enemy. But yeah, he was just like, I wanted to take him to small claims court for it, but I wasn't. My mom was like, you know, the money that you might even have to spend just to do that won't be worth it. So I didn't do it, but to this day, I still wish that I would have done it, but it was definitely the smarter route, I think, to not, and just to let it go and take my $150 and be like, you know what, screw you. I would never give you a good review to anyone. Like, I feel like word of mouth, when it comes to, like, people looking at places to stay and looking at the reviews, is much better than getting my money back, because you know what, I can write the shittiest review for you, which will be complete truth. It wouldn't be any lie. I wouldn't just make up lies about something, but I can give you exactly what happened and let you know, like, this is not a good landlord. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is my experience with moving out for my very first time, and I hope none of you have had to go through that. But if you have, and you have any shitty moving experience stories, please leave them down below, comment down below, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. If you guys did like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on my next video.